Welcome to the Tally Hunger Games with a Z. District 1 is Team Pog, District 2 is Team Rotary, District 3 is Team Yellow, District 4 is Team Honorary, District 5 is Team... District 6 is Team Violent, District 7 is Team No Hope, District 8 is Team Chaos, District 9 is Team Fear, District 10 is Team Marvins, District 11 is Team Post Marvins, District 12 is side projects that aren't Hawaii Part 2. I got high hopes for District 5. As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Good and Evil grabs a shovel. Hawaii Part 2 runs away from the cornucopia. Two Wolf Clown strangles Casey with a rope. Depressed Horse runs away from the cornucopia. Boris snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Joe runs away from the cornucopia. Rob runs away from the cornucopia. Not a Trampoline finds a bow, some arrows, and a quiver. Death Request Joe runs away from the cornucopia. Disney Jr. runs away from the cornucopia. Marvin's 05 grabs a jar of fishing bait while Sketches gets fishing gear. Steve, Taken for a Ride music video, and Zubin work together to get as many supplies as possible. Rick Lax runs away from the cornucopia. Jerk Chicken runs away from the cornucopia. Andrew runs away from the cornucopia. Suicidal Penguin, Ryan Scott, Marvin's 08, and Ross share everything they gathered before running. Joe Rilla snatches a bottle of alcohol and a rag. Death Request Joe receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Not a Trampoline picks flowers. Hawaii Part 2 picks flowers. Zubin and Taken for a Ride music video hunt for other tributes. Depressed Horse steals from Disney Jr. while he isn't looking. Rick Lax injures himself. Two Wolf Clown receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Ryan Scott travels to higher ground. Joe Rilla receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Suicidal Penguin camouflages himself in the bushes. Bora runs away from Marvin's 08. Andrew collects fruit from a tree. Joe sprains his ankle while running away from Rob. Good and Evil tends to sketch his wounds. Steve, Ross, and Marvin's 05 hunt for other tributes. Wouldn't expect those two on a team together. Jerk Chicken constructs a shack. Wolf Mutts are let loose in the area. Zubin is eaten by wolf mutts. Sketchy survives. Ryan Scott survives. Marvin's 08 survives. Not a Trampoline survives. Taken for a Ride music video knocks Steve out and leaves him for the wolf mutts. Rick Lax is eaten by wolf mutts. Joe Rilla is eaten by wolf mutts. Jerk Chicken is crushed by a pack of wolf mutts. Hawaii Part 2 survives. Andrew pushes Ross into a pack of wolf mutts. They're on the same team! Andrew, man! Rob survives. Boris survives. Good and Evil survives. As Disney Jr. and Suicidal Penguin fight, a pack of wolf mutts shows up and kills them both. Depressed Horse survives. Marvin's 05 survives. As Death Request Joe and Two Wolf Clown fight, a pack of wolf mutts show up and kill them both. Joe survives. Oh, what a hectic round. Marvin's 05 lets Hawaii Part 2 into his shelter. Marvin's 08 receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Andrew destroys Ryan Scott's supplies while he sleeps. Joe tends to Rob's wounds. Good and Evil and Depressed Horse huddle for warmth. Bora fends Taken for a Ride music video. Not a Trampoline and Sketches away from his fire. Not a Trampoline overhears Marvin's 08 and Marvin's 05 talking in the distance. Andrew travels to higher ground. Hawaii Part 2 goes hunting. Good and Evil diverts Sketch's attention and runs away. Joe poisons Rob's drink. He drinks it and dies. Bora strangles Ryan Scott with a rope. Taken for a Ride music video stabs Depressed Horse with a tree branch. Bora stays awake all night. Marvin's 08, Joe, Hawaii Part 2, and Good and Evil track down and kill Taken for a Ride music video. Marvin's 05 sets up camp for night. Andrew climbs a tree to rest. Not a Trampoline receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Sketches goes to sleep. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's family. Good and Evil kills Hawaii Part 2 with his own weapon. Joe decides not to go to the feast. Marvin's 05 decides not to go to the feast. Not a Trampoline decides not to go to the feast. Andrew decides not to go to the feast. Marvin's 08 destroys Sketch's memoirs out of spite. Bora decides not to go to the feast. Sketches travels to higher ground. Marvin's 08 stalks Marvin's 05. Joe questions his sanity. Bora falls into a frozen lake and drowns. Andrew makes a wooden spear. Not a Trampoline receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Good and Evil sees smoke rising in the distance but decides not to investigate. Good and Evil, Joe and Andrew discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Marvin's 05, Not a Trampoline and Marvin's 08 cheerfully sing songs together. Sketches receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Marvin's 05 and Marvin's 08 split up into search for resources. Joe tends to Andrew's wounds. Sketches questions his sanity. Not a Trampoline convinces Good and Evil to not kill him, only to kill him instead. Marvin's away, and Sketches run into each other and decide to truce for the night. Not a Trampoline and Joe huddle for warmth. Andrew passes out from exhaustion. Marvin's 05 receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Not a Trampoline and Joe hunt for other tributes. Marvin 05 receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Andrew sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Marvin's 05 tries to sleep through the entire day. Sketches constructs a shack. Marvin's 05 quietly hums. Andrew, Marvin's 08, Sketches, and Not a Trampoline sleep in shift. Joe dies from an infection. Sketches falls in... For fuck's sake. Sketches falls into a pit and dies. Marvin 05 scares Marvin 08 off. Andrew constructs a shack. Not a Trampoline receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Not a Trampoline and Andrew huddle for warmth. Marvin's 08 and Marvin's 05 talk about the tribute still alive. Okay. Marvin's 08, Andrew and Marvin's 05 track down and kill Not a Trampoline. Marvin's 08 receive an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Marvin's 05 lets Andrew into his shelter. Marvin's 05 kills Andrew with his own weapon. Marvin's 08 unknowingly eats toxic berries. The winner is Marvin's 05. Oh my god. Thank you to Billy Cobb, who I blatantly ripped this idea off from his Weezer Hunger Games video. Thank you, Bora, for falling into a frozen lake and drowning.